The Judgment and Exodus. The Galactic Tribunal convenes. The crystalline halls of the Galactic Tribunal had never witnessed such tension. Representatives from 47 advanced civilizations gathered in the floating city of Consensus Prime, their varied forms creating a tapestry of alien diversity. The Zephyrian delegates, with their translucent blue skin, whispered nervously among themselves. The towering Chronari, their metal exoskeletons gleaming under the artificial suns, stood rigid with anticipation. At the center of this cosmic court sat the High Arbiter Veltar, an ancient being whose species had long forgotten their original form, now existing as pure energy contained within a shimmering construct. The reason for this unprecedented gathering was singular in its importance. For the first time in the Tribunal's 1,000-year history, an entire species faced judgment for the crime of advancement. Humanity, the young race from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, had committed the unforgivable sin of progress. Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the defendant's podium, her uniform bearing the insignia of the United Earth Space Command. Behind her, a delegation of humanity's finest minds waited in silence. Scientists, engineers, diplomats, and military officers, all representing a species that had reached for the stars and grasped them with unprecedented speed. High Arbiter Veltar's voice resonated through the chamber, a sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Species designation human, you stand accused of reckless technological advancement, unsanctioned colonization, and disruption of galactic stability. How do you answer these charges? Elena's voice remained steady despite the gravity of the moment. With respect, High Arbiter, we answer that progress is not a crime. We have harmed no one. We have taken nothing that was not freely given by space itself. Our colonies exist on worlds that were barren, lifeless rocks before we arrived. A ripple of agitation swept through the assembled delegates. The Vorthok representative, a creature resembling a massive sea anemone, pulsed with indignant colors. They speak of harm while their ships multiply like parasites across the void. In 50 standard cycles, they have established colonies in 12 systems. Their growth rate exceeds safety parameters by 400%. Dr. Marcus Chen, humanity's lead xenobiologist, stepped forward. Our expansion has been peaceful. We've shared our discoveries freely with any species willing to engage in scientific exchange. Our medical advances have already helped cure diseases affecting 6 different civilizations. But the Tribunal was not interested in humanity's contributions. Fear had taken root in the galactic community, fear of a species that refused to accept limitations. The Ethereal Collective's ambassador, a being of living light, spoke with a voice like cosmic wind. Your species possesses a dangerous quality. You do not know when to stop. While others have achieved stability, you continue to push boundaries. This recklessness threatens the careful balance we have maintained for millennia. Elena felt the weight of her species' future pressing down on her shoulders. You speak of balance, but what you describe is stagnation. Yes, we are curious. Yes, we explore and innovate. These qualities have allowed us to solve problems that have plagued the galaxy for centuries. Our fusion technology has provided clean energy to the Theta settlements. Our agricultural techniques have ended famines on 3 worlds. High Arbiter Veltar raised a construct that might have been a hand. The Tribunal acknowledges humanity's contributions, but the risk outweighs the benefits. Your species' trajectory suggests that within 2 centuries, you will have established colonies in over 100 systems. Such expansion is unprecedented and unacceptable. The verdict was swift and unanimous. 47 civilizations voted for humanity's exile. Only the humans themselves dissented, though their voice carried no weight in this cosmic court. Elena watched as the judgment was rendered, feeling a mixture of anger and profound sadness. They were being punished for their greatest virtue, their refusal to surrender to the limitations others accepted. The exodus begins. The exile order was comprehensive and brutal. All human colonies outside the Sol system were to be evacuated within 1 standard year. No human vessel would be permitted in civilized space. Trade agreements were dissolved, scientific partnerships terminated, and diplomatic relations severed. Humanity was being cast into the void, forced to abandon everything they had built among the stars. Admiral Sarah Okafor commanded the largest evacuation fleet in human history. 3,000 ships of every size and type formed a massive convoy, carrying nearly 50 million colonists back toward Earth. The fleet stretched across space like a river of lights, each vessel filled with the dreams and ambitions of a species in exile. The evacuation was heartbreaking. On New Geneva, families packed belongings they had accumulated over generations. Children who had never seen Earth wept as they left the only homes they had ever known. Scientists destroyed their research rather than leave it behind for species who would never appreciate its value. Artists covered their murals, knowing they would never return to see them again. Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison watched from the bridge of the transport ship Endeavour as the last shuttles lifted off from Kepler 442 bits, humanity's most successful agricultural colony. The planet's amber wheat fields stretched to the horizon, golden in the light of the system's twin suns. In 5 years, those fields would return to wilderness, all trace of human achievement erased by time and weather. "It's not fair," whispered Dr. Sarah Kim, the colony's lead botanist. She clutched a sealed container holding seeds from Earth, humanity's gift to a world that no longer wanted them. "We made that planet bloom. We brought life to dead soil." Morrison placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "We'll make other worlds bloom, Doctor. This isn't the end. It's just a different beginning." As the convoy moved through space, a sense of unity emerged among the exiled humans. They had been rejected by the galaxy, but they still had each other. Engineers worked tirelessly to retrofit cargo ships into habitable vessels. Medical teams ensured that the long journey would not claim lives. Teachers organized schools to ensure that children continued learning during the exodus. Discovery of the Nexus system. 6 months into their journey toward the outer rim, long-range scouts made a discovery that would change everything. Deep in uncharted space, beyond the borders of any known civilization, lay a system that defied all expectations. The Nexus system contained 7 planets orbiting a stable binary star configuration, with asteroid belts rich in rare minerals and 3 worlds capable of supporting human life. Commander Lisa Park transmitted her findings back to the main fleet with barely contained excitement. "Admiral, you need to see this. The system is completely uninhabited, but the mineral wealth is incredible. We're detecting platinum, rhodium, and elements that don't even have names yet. One of the planets has breathable atmosphere and liquid water oceans." Admiral Okafor studied the data transmission with growing amazement. The Nexus system was everything humanity could hope for, a chance to start fresh, to build something new without the judgment of other species. The system was so remote that it had never appeared on any galactic survey, hidden in a region of space that most civilizations considered worthless. The decision was unanimous. Humanity would not return to Earth with their tails between their legs. They would claim the Nexus system and build something the galaxy had never seen before. The evacuation fleet changed course, carrying 50 million humans toward their new destiny. Foundation of New Terra. The planet they chose for their capital was designated New Terra, a world slightly larger than Earth with vast continents separated by azure oceans. Unlike Earth's chaotic weather patterns, New Terra enjoyed stable climates and predictable seasons. The binary stars provided constant warmth, and the planet's 3 moons created tidal forces that filled vast networks of rivers and streams. The landing was unlike anything in human history. Instead of a few hundred colonists establishing a beachhead, 50 million people descended on New Terra simultaneously. Prefabricated cities rose from empty plains in a matter of weeks. The largest settlement, Foundation City, sprawled across a coastal region with natural harbors perfectly suited for spaceports. Elena Vasquez, now appointed as the first Governor General of New Terra, stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Capitol Tower. The city stretched before her, a testament to human determination and ingenuity. Construction mechs worked alongside human crews to erect buildings that blended Earth architecture with innovations born from their galactic experiences. "We're not just building a colony," she told Dr. Chen as they watched the sunrise paint the sky in shades of gold and amber. "We're creating something entirely new, a civilization free from the limitations others try to impose on us." The work was intensive but fulfilling. Mining operations on the asteroid belts provided resources that had been scarce on Earth. Manufacturing facilities processed raw materials into everything from starship hulls to medical equipment. Agricultural teams terraformed vast regions, creating farmlands that could feed the entire population while preserving the planet's natural ecosystems. But perhaps most importantly, research continued unabated. Free from the suspicious oversight of other species, human scientists pursued projects that had been deemed too dangerous by the Galactic Tribunal. Fusion technology advanced by leaps and bounds. Genetic medicine eliminated diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia. Quantum computers solved problems that had puzzled scientists for generations. Within 18 months of their arrival in the Nexus system, humanity had established 3 major cities, dozens of smaller settlements, and industrial complexes that rivaled anything they had built in known space. The exile that was meant to cripple them had instead freed them to achieve their true potential. As Elena watched the third sun set over Foundation City, she smiled. The Galactic Tribunal had made a critical error in their judgment. They had assumed that banishment would break humanity's spirit. Instead, it had simply given them the freedom to prove what they were truly capable of achieving. The galaxy would learn, in time, that exiling humanity had not eliminated a threat. It had created one. Rise of the Human Empire. The Technological Revolution. 2 years after the establishment of New Terra, humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. Working without the constraints imposed by interspecies treaties and safety regulations, human scientists and engineers had made breakthrough discoveries that advanced their civilization by centuries in mere months. Dr. Rachel Torres stood in the primary laboratory of the New Terra Research Institute, watching as the prototype quantum drive hummed with barely contained energy. The device, no larger than a refrigerator, could propel a starship across vast distances in a fraction of the time required by conventional hyperdrive technology. "The energy efficiency is remarkable," she reported to the assembled team of engineers and physicists. "We're seeing a 93% reduction in fuel consumption compared to standard galactic drives, with a speed increase of over 400%. The breakthrough had come from humanity's unique approach to problem solving. While other species had accepted the limitations of existing technology, humans had asked a simple question: why? By examining the fundamental principles of space-time manipulation, rather than simply copying existing designs, they had discovered entirely new possibilities. Professor David Liu, the Institute's director, examined the quantum field readings with excitement. "This changes everything. With drives like this, we can explore the galaxy faster than any other species. We can establish a presence in systems they've never even surveyed." But the quantum drive was just one of many revolutionary advances. Human materials scientists had developed metamaterials that were stronger than anything in the galactic database. Medical researchers had created nanotechnology that could repair cellular damage at the molecular level. Energy specialists had perfected fusion reactors that produced power outputs previously thought impossible. The speed of advancement amazed even the humans themselves. Dr. Chen, now leading the Xenobiology division, had a theory about their unprecedented progress. "We're not just building on human knowledge anymore. We've incorporated discoveries from 6 different alien civilizations, then pushed beyond what any of them achieved individually. We're creating hybrid technologies that no single species could have developed alone." First contact redux. The first sign that humanity was not alone in their exile came from an unexpected source. Long-range sensors detected a distress signal originating from a system 12 light-years from Nexus. The signal was weak and intermittent, but analysis revealed it was artificial. Someone was calling for help. Captain James Wright commanded the exploration vessel Pioneer, one of the first ships equipped with the new quantum drive technology. His mission was simple: investigate the signal and determine if intervention was warranted. What he found changed the course of human history. The Kythera were a species of tall, graceful beings with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions. Their homeworld of Saren had been conquered by the Hegemony, a collection of aggressive species that served as enforcers for the Galactic Tribunal. The Kythera's crime was the same as humanity's. They had advanced too quickly and refused to accept artificial limitations on their development. Elder Nithara, the leader of the Kythera resistance, met with Captain Wright in a hidden base carved into an asteroid. Her skin flickered between deep blue and silver as she spoke, indicating both hope and wariness. We had heard rumors of humans, a species cast out like ourselves. We had hoped to find allies, but we dared not believe such fortune was possible. Wright studied the tactical displays showing hegemony patrol routes around the Kythera system. The alien oppressors had established orbital platforms designed to prevent any large-scale evacuation. Ships attempting to leave were either destroyed or captured, their crews taken for re-education. "How many of your people are trapped on the surface?" Wright asked. "Nearly 40 million, Nithara replied, her skin shifting to deep purple with grief. They are forced to work in mining operations, extracting rare minerals for the Hegemony war machine. Any who resist are executed as examples to the others." Wright made a decision that would have far-reaching consequences. "We're going to get them out. All of them." Alliance building. The rescue of the Kythera became humanity's first major military operation since their exile. Admiral Okafor assembled a task force of 30 ships, including several equipped with the new quantum drives and advanced weaponry systems. The plan was audacious: a direct assault on Hegemony forces followed by a massive evacuation operation. The battle for Saren lasted less than 6 hours. Human ships, moving faster and hitting harder than anything the Hegemony had encountered, overwhelmed the orbital defenses. The Hegemony commanders, accustomed to fighting species limited by tribunal-approved technology, were completely unprepared for humanity's quantum-enhanced weapons and advanced tactical systems. Commander Maria Santos piloted her fighter squadron through the debris field of destroyed Hegemony platforms, coordinating with Kythera ground forces to establish landing zones. "This is Liberation Squadron to ground teams. We've cleared the orbital space. Beginning transport operations now." The evacuation was swift and efficient. Massive transport ships descended to the planet's surface, loading refugees while smaller vessels provided air cover. Within 12 hours, every Kythera who wished to leave had been transported to safety in the Nexus system. But the rescue operation had unexpected consequences. Word of humanity's intervention spread throughout the galaxy's underground networks, reaching other oppressed species who had been cast out or conquered by the Tribunal and its enforcers. Within months, representatives from dozens of alien civilizations began arriving at New Terra, seeking alliance with the species that had defied the Galactic Order. The Zephonian Republic, descendants of the original Zephyrians who had been exiled generations earlier for cultural deviance, offered their expertise in biotechnology. The Stellar Collective, a group of artificial intelligences deemed too dangerous by organic species, provided advanced computational systems. The Wanderer clans, nomadic traders who had been blacklisted for refusing to pay tribute to the Tribunal, brought intelligence networks spanning half the galaxy. Elena Vasquez, now president of the Liberation Coalition, addressed the growing assembly of exiled species from the steps of Foundation City's Unity Hall. Representatives from 23 different civilizations listened as she outlined humanity's vision for the future. "We have all been cast out by species that fear change, that demand conformity, that punish excellence," she declared. "But we refuse to accept their judgment. Together, we will build something new, a civilization based on freedom, innovation, and mutual respect. We will show the galaxy that diversity is strength, not weakness. The counterstrike. The Galactic Tribunal's response to humanity's growing influence was predictable and swift. A massive hegemony fleet, comprising over 200 warships from 12 different species, was dispatched to the Nexus system with orders to resolve the human problem permanently. Fleet Admiral Corthex of the Dominion Navy commanded the largest punitive expedition in galactic history. His species, the Dominion, had served as the Tribunal's primary enforcers for 3 centuries. They had never failed to crush rebellion, and Corthex saw no reason why humanity should be different. These humans have forgotten their place, he told his subordinate commanders as the fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Nexus system. They were given the mercy of exile, yet they continue to spread their poison throughout the galaxy. Today that ends. What Corthex found waiting for him shattered every assumption about human capabilities. The Liberation Coalition had transformed the Nexus system into the most heavily defended region of space in the galaxy. Orbital fortresses bristling with quantum weapons protected each inhabited world. Minefields of cloaked explosives waited in carefully calculated positions. Most surprisingly, a fleet of nearly 500 ships representing 23 different species hung in formation around New Terra. The Battle of Nexus lasted for 3 days and became known throughout the galaxy as the day the cosmic order changed forever. Human quantum drives allowed coalition ships to appear and disappear at will, striking hegemony vessels before vanishing back into hyperspace. Kythera biotechnology had created living ships that could repair battle damage in real time. Zephonian energy weapons carved through enemy armor like paper. Admiral Sarah Okafor, now commanding the Coalition Defense Force, coordinated the battle from the bridge of humanity's flagship, the New Terra. The vessel itself was a marvel of hybrid technology, incorporating innovations from every allied species into a design that surpassed anything in the galactic database. Enemy forces are breaking formation, reported Commander Park from the tactical station. Their command ship is requesting permission to withdraw. Okafor watched as the once mighty hegemony fleet scattered like leaves before a storm. Ships that had terrorized species across the galaxy fled in panic from an alliance of outcasts and exiles. The psychological impact would be enormous. The Tribunal's enforcers were not invincible. "Let them go," she ordered, "but make sure they carry our message back to their masters. The age of Tribunal dominance is ending." Empire expansion. Victory at Nexus marked the beginning of a new era. The Liberation Coalition, now calling itself the Free Worlds Alliance, began expanding rapidly throughout the Outer Rim territories. Systems that had been abandoned or ignored by the major galactic powers welcomed the chance to join a civilization that valued innovation over conformity. The expansion was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Rather than conquering worlds through force, humanity and its allies offered technology, protection, and most importantly, freedom. Species that had been enslaved by hegemony forces found themselves liberated. Worlds that had been strip-mined by tribunal-approved corporations were helped to rebuild their ecosystems. Dr. Torres, now serving as the Alliance's chief technology officer, oversaw the construction of quantum communication networks that connected dozens of star systems. For the first time in galactic history, information could be transmitted instantaneously across vast distances, creating a truly unified civilization. The economic impact was staggering. Freed from the restrictive trade regulations imposed by the Tribunal, member worlds of the Alliance experienced unprecedented prosperity. Technological innovations flowed freely between species, creating hybrid solutions to problems that had plagued civilizations for millennia. But perhaps most importantly, the Alliance offered something the galaxy had never seen: hope. Species that had been told they could never advance beyond certain limits suddenly found themselves reaching for the stars. Civilizations that had been forced into stagnation rediscovered their capacity for growth and change. The New Order. 5 years after their exile, humanity had achieved the impossible. The Free Worlds Alliance controlled nearly 100 star systems and commanded the loyalty of 43 different species. Their technology surpassed anything developed by the ancient civilizations of the inner galaxy. Their military forces had proven capable of defeating the Tribunal's best enforcers. President Vasquez stood before the Alliance Council on the 5th anniversary of Foundation Day, addressing representatives from across the Outer Rim. The chamber was a marvel of cooperative architecture, designed to accommodate the physiological needs of dozens of different species, while maintaining the aesthetic beauty each culture valued. "We were cast out because we dared to dream of something better," she said, her words translated simultaneously into 43 different languages. "They feared our potential, our refusal to accept limitations. They wanted us to believe that progress was dangerous, that innovation was reckless, that diversity was weakness." The chamber erupted in cheers as beings of every conceivable form expressed their agreement. The Kithera's skin shifted to brilliant gold, while the Stellar Collective's holographic representatives pulsed with approval. The Wanderer clans sang ancient songs of victory in harmonies that made the air itself vibrate with joy. "Today, we have proven them wrong," Vasquez continued. "We have built a civilization that celebrates excellence, rewards innovation, and protects the rights of all beings to reach their full potential. We have shown the galaxy that cooperation is stronger than coercion, that freedom is more powerful than fear." The transformation was complete. Humanity, once a species of exiles wandering the void, had become the foundation of a new galactic order. The Free Worlds Alliance represented everything the old tribunal system was not: dynamic, inclusive, and unlimited in its potential for growth. As the celebration continued into the night, representatives from the inner galaxy's core worlds watched from hidden observation posts. The Galactic Tribunal's authority was crumbling as more species sought to join the Alliance. The age of enforced stagnation was ending, replaced by an era of unprecedented innovation and expansion. The humans had been banished for being too dangerous to the established order. In their exile, they had proven that assessment absolutely correct, but in ways the Tribunal never could have imagined. They had not destroyed the galactic civilization. They had simply built a better one. And across the galaxy, on worlds where beings had been told for generations that they had reached their limits, new voices began to whisper of freedom, of possibility, of a future without artificial constraints. The human empire had not conquered through force, but through example. They had shown the galaxy what it meant to truly be free. The exile was over. The future had begun.